So there is something about having kids that brings out all of your weaknesses and trauma. And I saw that with myself today when I was making these homemade chocolate peanut butter cups that we're allowed to eat. We got to make our own everything. We can't have any cane sugars. We got to make our own chocolate with honey and all this stuff. And like, I have so much control issues because I want everything to be perfect. But I also want to teach my daughter how to cook and how to help me and how to, do things for herself. So I have to relinquish control and let her learn and mess up a little bit and not do things super perfect, even though I really just want to do it myself so that I can make it perfect and then feel good about how perfect I made it. But then I feel bad because I don't let her experiment and try it and be okay with what it turned out to be. So, I had to just decide it was going to be a mess. They weren't going to be perfect. And it was literally so hard. I couldn't even watch. I had to look out the window. I had to put my hands behind my back and clasp them together as hard as I could. It was so hard for me to give up control and let her pour the chocolate into the peanut butter cups. It sounds ridiculous when I even say it. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow, you have issues, big issues. But I did. I knew it was probably right. Sometimes I can't tell what's right, what's wrong. Should I let myself do this since I know it's gonna be a mess and I know this is gonna be a mess if she does it versus me, or should I just clean up the mess afterwards and not make it such a big deal? So when she was younger, I was able to rationalize it as no, I will do this part. You can do the stirring, I'm gonna do the pouring, and that's it. But now, she's 6, almost 7, she can definitely do it. It may not be perfect, but she can definitely do the job. And so I'm she really wanted to do it. It was so hard at first. Oh my gosh. I'm watching the chocolate get dripped all over the thing. And I'm just it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And I fought, because I usually wear all of my emotion and expression right here. And she probably sensed it because people can sense things, right? But I made sure that I voiced, you are doing such a good job. That is just as good as I would have done it. Because certainly I would have dripped some chocolate too. It's inevitable. The stuff is, you can't, nobody's perfect, right? Even though I want to be. I try to get things perfect because then I get the satisfaction when they look just pristine and perfect, like I came from a store or whatever. But that comes at a huge sacrifice because part of my job is to teach her to be able to be, self-sufficient and do things on her own. And part of that involves a little bit of a mess and a little bit of just giving up control. And that has been hugely hard. This is the first time I've even let her do that part. I usually fill the muffin cups if we're making muffins, because I don't want it all over the place, and I don't want it in between the muffin cups. So anyways, if you've had a lot of trauma, you're gonna have to coach yourself through and give up a little bit of control if you have kids, and if you don't, because you're probably compensating for the lack of control that you had when you were growing up into now. I'm gonna control everything and I'm gonna make it this way, that way, so I can prevent this and that from happening. It's you're not gonna have fun. You can't have any fun. So I tried to have fun during this experience, and I actually did end up having fun. For the first minute while I was adjusting to giving up control, I was not okay. I was oh my gosh, keep my mouth shut, keep my hands clenched. But then as I already decided I'm giving up that control, I'm letting her do it and I'll deal with whatever happens, then I was able to have fun. and I noticed one of the ones that she poured looked like a turtle, and I'm like, oh, I love that one. It looks like a turtle. It wasn't perfect, but actually it was kind of cute. So sometimes our mistakes end up being awesome, the most awesome ones. So it was just a little lesson for me and a little exercise for me, which might be easy for someone else, but for me, it was not easy. And yeah, even as I looked at them when we were done, I was like, okay, they're not perfect, but you know what? I let my daughter help me, and now she gets the satisfaction of knowing that I trust her to help me in the kitchen and that she can do these things. And I hope that I didn't mess that up with my suppressed emotions of like, it's not perfect, oh, I can't handle it. But I try to keep that part inside and try to praise the way that she was doing it, so that she can know that she's capable, she's competent, and she can do hard things. It is so hard parenting after being raised by narcissists, this is not a judge thing. I'm not judging my parents. I know why they were narcissists now. They were severely traumatized, and they never knew how to heal. I don't even think they even got to the point where they recognized that they needed to be healing at all. I don't even know what their mindset is, because I've never even caught a whiff of like, yeah, I know I have a lot of issues and I need to work on them. Never any of that. So I don't know. It's always a blame thing, and that's what people that can't look at themselves usually will blame other people for things that go wrong. Even when it's directly their fault, they cannot handle any responsibility because they already feel awful inside. So they can't accept that they are wrong or deficient or messed up or anything that would make them feel worse than they already do deep down, which they won't admit, because they, on the outside, they have to put up a front of like, I am awesome and amazing and the best, and other people are ugly or fat or stupid or whatever, so that they can feel a little better. So they always look for the ones that they can feel better than, so that they can put them down and feel a little bit better, because they feel awful inside. So once you see that, then their attacks, they're futile. They don't hit you at the core anymore, because you see how hurt they are inside and where it's really coming from. And that has nothing to do with you. It has all to do with how they feel on the inside. Which brings up another thing about being raised by narcissistic parents, is that you're never shown any love. No love. Only condemnation, only judgment, only negative type stuff. Now if you show that you're pandering and trying really hard to make them happy, they may reward that by saying, oh, you're such a helpful, you're so helpful, thank you. I don't remember much of that, but the general vibe is kind of encouraging for that type of behavior. So you kind of learn to people please, not yourself, but others, at expense of self, and total self-abandonment is required. Now, people may get to that point later in life naturally, but like a child, I don't think it's healthy for you to teach them to only try to please others. Like, you got to teach them boundaries. Where do you begin? Where does someone else start? And like to, also take care of yourself. So I don't know. The not being shown love, like at all, growing up has not been good for me. Like, really bad, because now I don't know what love even is. And whatever I think it is, I don't think it's a healthy perspective of what love is. So one of my biggest fears is that I'm a narcissist, because I was raised by narcissists, and usually, that traumatizes you so bad that it ends up happening to you as well. The same thing that happened to them. Lack of love leads to narcissism. Lack of love in childhood, basically. So, I mean, I will definitely admit, like, if I'm not one now, which I'm not entirely certain, because I don't know if it like goes away or if you can heal from it, but I believe, you know, because, you know, I believe in God, and that he could heal even the deepest, most damaging wounds, you know. Like, I think it's a process. You have to totally start from scratch and like learn what love is. And it's really hard when you're already an adult and you already trained your mind and your brain is already wired a certain way to try to get love and acceptance and things like this the ways that you know how. So you might struggle a lot, because love's supposed to be unconditional, but with narcissists it was conditional for them, and so it's conditional also in the way that they give it. And so it's not love, it's transactional behaviors, like, oh, well, you did this to me, so I'm gonna give you the cold shoulder, I'm gonna be cold, or you said this to me, and that, you know, it's like everything's transactional, which is very tiresome, because then you're walking on eggshells, like, okay, so I have to do this in order for them to not treat me like garbage. So, you know, you're always trying to pander to that person. It makes it exhausting to live with them. And I definitely think I had some of those traits, like growing up and after. Like, eventually I adopted those traits because I'm like, oh, okay. Because at first I knew, like, this does not seem right. This is so unhealthy. This is a miserable existence. But then, like, as you're exposed to it for like 18 years, eventually you start to take on some of those characteristics. That's all that you know. And if you're not getting an example from somebody that's healthy, then of course you're going to begin to take on some of those characteristics. So I definitely did, and not intentionally. I didn't even see it until probably maybe 5 or 10 years ago. And then I'm like, am I a narcissist? I think I am. I need to apologize for how I've been acting, so that my older children don't think that it was them or think they're deficient, and they can just know that, you know, I was a traumatized individual, and I don't think I did a very good job raising you guys. I mean, I tried my best. I definitely did, and I love you guys, as, you know, whatever love is, right? Like, I felt love for my children. I just didn't know how to show it. I didn't even know what it feels like to get it back. In fact, if you grow up with narcissistic parents, needs of others, because your parents require you to parent them. And so whenever you're a parent raising kids who have normal childlike behavior and needs, like they're needy because they need you, then it kind of triggers you, because you feel like, oh, this is just like my childhood. I had to do this, that, and this for them. I had to listen to all their stuff that I wasn't old enough to hear, and I had to be their therapist, and I had to be strong and be the adult. And like, so you don't really mature, because you didn't get to ever be a child and like slowly grow into that role. You're just thrust into it right at the beginning, and then it becomes triggering to be those things, and so you're resisting. But it's very, very challenging to be a parent after narcissistic abuse. So that's part of my biggest struggle with parenting, is that almost everything's a trigger. Like, people needing stuff all the time. Even if I have to talk, that's a trigger sometimes. I mean, unless I'm in a mood where I want to talk. If I'm in a mood where I want to be quiet, well, that doesn't fly, because when you have a 6'4" and 2-year-old, like, all they want to do is talk, and they want to show you stuff, and they're like, Mom, and they're like, look at this, and like, Mom, what is this, and what happens if this, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. And so even having to say yeah, or like stuff like that, is a trigger. And so it makes it super difficult. So it requires like a lot of alone time, a lot of validating emotions, like, okay, this is how I'm feeling, and this is from this happening to me in childhood. And so it'll help explain like why you're feeling that way. And it won't necessarily like immediately solve it, but at least to know where those thoughts are coming from and where those actions and feelings are coming from can help you go, okay, all right, well, I understand why I feel that way, and that makes sense. And I'm sorry that I had to deal with that growing up. And I'm gonna still do my best to be a good parent, and I'm gonna give myself what I need as much as I can. Like if you need some alone time, take it, because it's probably best if you do run to your closet and sit there and just rest and cry or do whatever you got to do for a few minutes than it is to like try to force yourself to endure. Whereas sometimes as a mom though, you don't have a choice. Sometimes you're stuck in the car and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't take it anymore, so I just put some headphones in. Sometimes just I gotta block it out, because I start feeling the way I would feel when I was growing up, and that brings out a side of me that's like not good. And I'd rather be totally silent and be like, I need a break, I need a minute, than lash out on them or something, So I've learned to give myself what I think I need. It takes a lot. It's a lot of work to recover from this. And I didn't know that I needed all this work, because I just had the belief that I was just an awful person, and that something, was wrong with me, and that anybody that's like with me is like, sucks for them. So I'm gonna like do my best to like, just try really hard to be normal and be a person that people would want to be around, because no one would want to be around me. I know that, because that's the kind of beliefs that you get when you grow up with a lot of trauma. So yeah, I definitely think I was a narcissist, and narcissists, people say, have more pride than like anyone. And it is pride, but it's like fake pride, because they don't truly believe that they are better. In fact, they think that they are the worst, the absolute worst, and no one would love them if they don't try to be something that someone will love. So how sad, right? How sad. So that's why you always show love to everyone, like especially a narcissist. They may not be able to absorb it. They may not feel it. They may not know what it is, but they don't need more. They don't need more attacks and more abuse. They sure don't. Am I saying never cut a narcissist out of your life? No, because that's what I do. Well, because I can't handle that. I don't know if I can respond in love always, and they will drain you because of how they have to feed their empty soul. It's not a healthy cycle. But if you're forced to interact with a narcissist, do your best to respond in love, because they've never been shown love, not real love, at least not as a child. They may have had a spouse or something that tried to show them love, but even then, like, most narcissists end up with another abusive partner. So abusive, I'm not saying physically, I'm saying like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like what counts, physical abuse. I'm not, minimizing it. I'm just saying physical abuse is maybe easier to recover from than actual mental abuse for a long period of time, because it breaks down your inside, your soul. And then that's manifested through your physical anyway, because it's all related. So yeah, physical abuse can damage your soul too, but I think it actually is worse if the abuse is mental and like emotional. That is the hardest abuse to recover from, in my experience. Like, I wasn't beat. I think I might have been hit a few times, but like that's not my scars. In fact, I don't have much trauma from those times. In fact, it was clearer for me to understand what they were thinking and feeling when they did be more physical, that was actually a relief. I was like, oh, okay, they're upset. And then I knew, okay, like keep my distance or whatever, don't do that particular thing. But when it's all psychological and they're playing mind games and you can't figure it out and you're always trying to like, what is going on here? I'm just trying to be a good girl, like, so you'll love me. Like, I don't know, like, what do you want from me? Like, I'd rather you just tell me. But they can't be direct either, so they manipulate you until you're just broken. And they stomp you down, like so far down. It's like a soul death. It literally is. And so I have been trying to revive my soul, because I don't believe that a narcissist can really crush your soul and kill it. Like, I don't think anyone but God can actually kill the soul. So once I realized that, I was like, all right, it's in there, and I'm going to help it revive. And I believe God's the only one who can do it, because I have been trying to read all the self-help books. I have so many, and I'm reading another one right now, The Body Keeps the Score. Like, I'll continue to try to get knowledge so that I can know the characteristics and know like what not to do with my own kids. But like, it hasn't really helped me heal all that much. Maybe a little bit, but really most of the healing has come from just reaching out to God. Like, all right, I can't do this. Like, I literally, I can't heal myself. You're going to have to do it. And when I finally did break down and like realize that I don't have the ability to heal myself, that God's gonna have to do it, then I started to get progress. So you got to give up. Once you give up, then you'll get the help you need. And doesn't mean that my life's easy now. Not at all. There's more triggers that come up. You know, it's like an onion. You're like, okay, well, I worked through that one. Now I know I need this, so I give myself that. But then there'll be more triggers that you daily have to be like, oh, okay, clearly that's a trigger. Don't know where it's coming from yet, but I'll work on figuring it out and try to give myself what I need and validate my feelings for that, because yeah, that's just what it's like when you're processing trauma that you suppressed almost your whole life. And it is a lifelong process. I have friends that did not have kids who are the same age as me, and she knows who she is. And she's like, I am so thankful I didn't have kids, because I am a mess right now. I can't function hardly to even take care of myself, much less some other kids, some other people, kids no less, that you're responsible for their mental health and their physical health and their emotional and spiritual health. Like, I can't even deal with myself, much less them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so I appreciated getting that text and that communication with her, because yeah, that's what I'm saying, is like, I can barely take care of my own self, and like, so taking care of all these people when I am like not doing good has been so hard. Like, I even looked into checking myself into a mental hospital just to get myself to a place where maybe some time and space and freedom to breathe and like listen to my own needs. Like, what do you want to do right now? Do you want to take a bath? Do you want to eat some food? Do you want to go for a walk? Like, what would you like to do? But since you can't really do that when you have kids, you can't just like take care of yourself. You got to take care of other people all the time. You can't really figure out who you are, what you need to heal and be better. And it's like, that was the biggest task I could have ever given myself, considering what I went through. But I didn't even know. I didn't even know until I'd already had basically all of my kids. And then I was like, oh shoot, what have I done? Now I have to figure out how to heal, like, quick now. I got to heal now so that I don't mess up my kids, because I have unprocessed trauma and I'm a mess. So that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta heal. I gotta read these books. I gotta do all these things. And then I actually had to get to a point where I was like, no, what am I afraid of? Okay, I am afraid of putting my kids through the same thing that I went through and creating the same type of disorder in my kids that I have, because it's been torturous. And that would be my biggest fear. So I have to acknowledge and accept that that may very well happen. But has it happened? Maybe not, maybe. I can't really say for sure, but I do know that I'm doing the best I can, and I'm reaching out to God, and I'm doing everything I can. And if that does happen, then maybe, just maybe, God will use it to bring them closer to Him. Because, back to my own advice that I gave on a short a long time ago, you can't mess them up more than God can fix them.